The sky above the crystal city burned with violet lightning, casting strange shadows over the towers that seemed alive. Captain Elias Ward stood at the edge of the grand palace balcony, rain soaking through his uniform. He had been sent here with a small diplomatic crew, but no one had explained why the Avarian queen herself requested a human. The wind howled like a beast, yet the queen's summons felt more terrifying than the storm. Inside the palace, the throne room glimmered with soft silver light. Crystal pillars stretched to the ceiling, refracting the glow in dizzying patterns. And there, sitting tall on a throne carved from a single massive gem, was Queen. Her silver skin shone even in the dim light, and her long flowing hair sparkled faintly as if it held stars. But her eyes were what caught Elias first. They were wide, almost pleading, filled with a deep, raw fear he had never seen in a leader before. The human swallowed, his throat dry. He had faced battles, alien creatures, and deadly storms across the galaxy. He had never felt the weight of a civilization resting on him before, and yet, standing there, he could feel it now. "Captain Ward," said softly, her voice trembling despite her regal posture, I need you. My people are dying. Our energy cores are failing. If I do not act, the city, the empire, everything will collapse." Elias nodded, trying to mask the shiver in his body. "Tell me what you need, Your Majesty," he said, keeping his voice steady. Her lips trembled as she spoke, almost as if admitting a terrible truth. "Please, come inside of me." The words echoed strangely in the cavernous hall. A dozen guards stiffened, unsure whether to move or speak. Elias, however, did not flinch. He understood. This was not physical. This was a merging ritual, the ancient method of sharing mind, strength, and life itself. He knew it would be dangerous. Humans were not built for this kind of psychic fusion. Most would break in minutes. And yet she had chosen him. "You mean, enter your mind," he said, testing the waters, careful not to misinterpret her request. Inclined her head, silver hair glinting as she did. "Yes, my species can transfer knowledge, power, and even hope, but the process is fatal for ordinary humans. Only one with unusual mental resilience can survive it. I have seen your courage, your ability to endure, and I believe you can do it." Elias swallowed hard, feeling the weight of her trust pressing against him. He had fought wars, survived fire, and endured betrayals that had him for life. Yet this was different. The stakes were not his life alone. They were the lives of billions of beings he had never met, a civilization whose very soul rested in his hands. He stepped closer, feeling a strange pull, like the air around the queen shimmered with invisible power. "Then I will do it," he said finally. His voice was quiet but resolute. His eyes widened, disbelief and relief mingling. No queen had ever asked a foreigner for this. No human had ever agreed. And yet here he was, ready to enter her mind, ready to risk everything for her people. "You will see things you were never meant to see," she warned. "My memories, my fears, the burdens I hide even from my closest advisors. It may break you. It may shatter you." Elias looked into her silver eyes and met her fear with calm determination. "Better me than your entire species," he said. The words came naturally, without hesitation, carrying a weight of sincerity that resonated deep within the queen. For the first time in centuries, felt hope bloom in her chest. Not because of her own power, but because of this human, this fragile, stubborn, extraordinary human, standing before her and offering himself without hesitation. A low hum filled the throne room, as if the palace itself recognized the decision made. The air shimmered, and the crystal pillars pulsed faintly with light. Elias took a deep breath, tightening his fists as he prepared himself. "I am ready," he said. Rose slowly from her throne, her expression a mix of fear and trust. "Then follow me," she whispered. "And remember, once you enter, there is no turning back." Elias nodded, his heart pounding. He did not know what awaited him beyond this moment, but he knew one thing: he would face it with everything he had. For her people, for a future that depended on courage beyond imagination. And with that, they began to move deeper into the palace, leaving the storm behind but stepping straight into something far more dangerous, the queen's mind itself. The corridors beneath the palace were unlike anything Elias had ever seen. The walls glimmered faintly with a soft blue light, pulsing as if alive. Symbols carved into the stone shifted slowly like they were breathing. The deeper they walked, the quieter it became, until even the echo of their steps seemed to vanish. Elias could feel the weight of anticipation pressing against his chest, and he realized this was not just a journey through the palace. It was a journey into something far older, far more mysterious, and far more dangerous than any battlefield he had faced. Queen led the way silently. Her every movement radiated grace, yet her usual composure was tinged with worry. Elias had spent years studying alien cultures, but something about the way she walked now, the subtle tremor in her shoulders, the way she glanced back at him occasionally, made him realize she was afraid. Not of him, but of what lay ahead. Finally, they reached a massive doorway carved from translucent crystal. Inside, a soft, blue glow radiated from the floor, walls, and ceiling. Elias felt a strange vibration in the air, like the heartbeat of the chamber itself. Paused, her hands hovering just above the threshold. "This is the Chamber of Echoes," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "It is where we perform the psychic merging ritual. Once you enter, your mind will connect with mine completely. You will see my memories, my fears, my soul. And if your mind cannot endure it, you will be lost." Elias nodded, though his heart beat faster than ever. "I understand. I've faced danger before, but nothing like this. I won't back down." Her eyes softened. For the first time, she allowed herself to show gratitude without the shield of royal dignity. "I knew you would say that. That is why I asked you. Humans have a strange courage and a heart that refuses to break, even when everything threatens it." The queen extended her hands into the chamber, and a silver mist began to rise from the floor. It swirled like liquid light, twisting and pulsing with power. Elias could feel its energy tugging at him, probing his mind even before he stepped forward. His instincts screamed that this was dangerous, yet he did not move back. "You may feel fear, doubt, and pain unlike anything you have known," warned. "The memories you will experience are mine, centuries of leadership, of loss, of responsibility. Some humans might collapse under the weight, but I believe you are different." Elias clenched his fists and took a deep breath. "Then I will carry it," he said. "For you, for your people. I'll take the burden if it saves your world." Her lips quivered, and Elias thought he saw a tear glimmer on her silver cheek. "You have no idea what you are about to face," she said softly. "But that is what makes you extraordinary." Step by step, they moved into the chamber. The mist rose higher, encircling them both. Elias felt it pressing gently against his body, not hurting but testing him. When he looked at the queen, she seemed smaller somehow, vulnerable in a way no leader had ever allowed him to see. "This is it," she whispered. "Once you touch my essence, the merge begins. Our minds will become one. You will feel everything I have felt, all my fears, my losses, my loneliness. You will carry my soul inside you." Elias' pulse raced. He could almost hear the beating of her heart in his own chest. "Then let's begin," he said, reaching toward the swirling mist. The moment his hand entered the silver light, a wave of warmth and energy rushed through him. It was not painful, but it was overwhelming. His mind suddenly felt vast, stretching across years and memories not his own. He caught glimpses of her childhood, the first time she learned to control light. He felt her joy, her pride, and then her terror when her people were threatened. And then he understood. This merging was not just about survival. It was about trust, about courage, about opening oneself to another soul completely. The queen was giving him everything she was, and he had to carry it without breaking. Elias exhaled, steadying his mind. He met her gaze, and in that moment he knew their fates were now bound together. He would not falter. Not for her, not for her people, not for himself. Smiled faintly, hope shining through her fear. "Then let us walk together," she whispered, "into the depths of each other's souls." The world around Elias vanished in an instant. The silver mist of the Chamber of Echoes consumed him, yet he felt no fear. Instead, an odd calm settled over him as if the air itself whispered encouragement. His senses stretched beyond the physical, reaching into something vast, ancient, and fragile, the mind of Queen. Suddenly, he was somewhere else. The chamber dissolved, replaced by a field of soft, shimmering light. It was endless, like standing inside a star, yet familiar at the same time. And in the center, a figure moved, yet not entirely her physical form. She glowed with silver energy, and her eyes, though wide and fearful, now held something else: vulnerability. Elias realized he could feel her emotions: joy, sorrow, pride, exhaustion, and a loneliness so deep it almost knocked the wind out of him. He had faced terrifying creatures in the outer colonies, storms that shredded ships, and enemies who had tried to kill him. Yet none of those moments had ever carried such weight as this. This was not battle. This was another being's life, her entire being, laid bare before him. You are inside me," his voice echoed, not through sound but thought. "You feel everything I feel. You may break, and if you do, so does everything I have built." Elias focused, steadying his mind. "I will not break," he answered, letting her know he understood the stakes. "I will carry your memories, your burdens, and your hopes. I will not falter. You are not alone anymore." For the first time in centuries, allowed herself to breathe, to trust another completely. The psychic bond between them pulsed, intertwining his thoughts with hers. He glimpsed her childhood, her first steps in learning to control the light that flowed through all Avarians, the lessons she learned from her elders, the first moment she understood her responsibility to her people. Then came the heavier memories: wars she had led, the loss of close friends, and moments when she had been forced to make impossible decisions. Elias felt every tear, every heartbeat, every tremor of fear. The weight of centuries pressed down on him, yet he did not falter. He focused on her energy, holding it steady, letting her know without words that she was not carrying it alone. And then something unexpected happened. He felt her fear for herself, not just her people. For the first time, the Queen admitted vulnerability that no one had ever seen. She trembled in thought, whispering silently, "What if you cannot survive this? What if I lose you, like I have lost so many others I tried to protect?" Elias stepped closer, though it was all mental, all emotional. "You will not lose me. I am here. I am not leaving. Not now, not ever. You trusted me, and I will honor that trust with everything I am." A rush of warmth flowed through them both, wrapping like a protective cloak. The bond deepened. He could now feel her power, the raw energy she had always carried hidden beneath her regal composure. It was beautiful, terrifying, and intoxicating all at once. He realized that the merging was more than survival, it was transformation. He was becoming part of her, and she was allowing herself to become part of him. Yet even as awe and wonder filled him, a shadow loomed. The pressure of carrying centuries of memories, emotions, and responsibilities weighed on him heavily. His human mind strained, his vision flickered with the intensity of the shared experience. The bond was beautiful, yes, but dangerous. "Stay with me," whispered panic threading her tone. "Do not leave, please." "I won't," Elias answered. "I am with you. Together we are stronger than either of us alone. I will carry this burden because you trusted me, and I will not fail you." In that instant, a new connection formed, not just a shared mind but a shared courage. For the first time, Elias understood what made her a queen: not just power or authority, but an unyielding willingness to carry her people's weight alone, until now. And for the first time, felt hope without fear. She had let someone truly in, someone human, and discovered that courage could take shapes even she had never imagined. The journey had only begun, but for the first time the Queen smiled in thought, and Elias knew they could survive anything, as long as they faced it together. The connection between Elias and Queen deepened, but with each passing moment the intensity grew. The light surrounding them in the psychic space pulsed violently, as if the chamber itself was warning them. Elias could feel the weight of centuries pressing down on his mind. Her memories, her fears, her losses, they were beautiful, but they were also suffocating. Every heartbeat, every tear she had shed over the centuries, resonated inside him like a hammer. Elias, stop! His voice echoed in his mind, trembling with panic. You cannot carry this, it will destroy you. But Elias did not move back. He had felt fear before, yes, but never like this. Never had he faced a force that was part love, part desperation, part raw power. He could feel her trembling through the bond, and it made him fight harder, to hold steady, to carry her without faltering. No, he replied through thought. I will not leave you, I will not let you fall. We are in this together. A surge of energy knocked against him like a wave in a storm. The light around them flared, blinding and overwhelming. He could see her life in flashes, the early days of her reign, victories, betrayals, and countless sacrifices she had made alone. Pain, grief, and hope collided in a storm that threatened to crush him. His head spun. His vision blurred. Every fiber of his being ached with the pressure. I cannot hold it, screamed inside his mind, panic threading her words. I will lose control, I will destroy us both. Elias steadied his thoughts, grounding himself as he had done in countless battles. He knew the queen was not crying for her people now, she was crying for him, for the human who had dared to step into her soul. He pushed through the storm, holding onto a single truth. She had trusted him, and he would not fail her. Give me everything, he shouted in thought. Do not hold back, we can survive this together. The surge intensified, and the light became a torrent, pressing into his mind from all sides. For a moment, Elias felt himself splitting, tearing at the edges. Every human instinct screamed to pull back, to flee, to protect himself. But he did not. He focused on her energy, her presence, and the bond that had formed between them. You are stronger than I imagined, whispered, awe threading through her panic. I've never trusted anyone like this, and yet here you are, holding me when I feared I would be alone forever. The bond shifted, stabilizing slightly. Elias felt her fear ebb just enough for clarity to return. The chamber in the real world shook violently. Cracks formed along the crystal walls, and the hum of energy from the cores above grew louder. The queen's power, untamed and immense, threatened to ripple outward beyond the palace if they failed. He clenched his fists in determination. We are not failing, I will carry this with you. I will not break, I will not leave. For a heartbeat the storm paused. Light and energy danced around them, swirling but contained. In that silence, Elias realized the depth of her trust. She had given him everything she had, every fear, every memory, every piece of herself, and he had held it. And in doing so, he had changed her. Not just her mind, but her heart. Thank you, whispered, a tear of silver light flowing through her form. You are extraordinary. I never believed anyone could do this. I never believed anyone could truly see me and still choose to stay. Elias smiled faintly, exhausted but resolute. I am here, and I am not leaving. The chamber's storm subsided, but the bond remained. Stronger, deeper, and more fragile than either could have imagined. They had survived the break point, but both knew this was only the beginning. The queen's mind had tested him, and he had endured. And in that endurance, something new had been born. A trust, a connection, and a courage that neither human nor had ever experienced before. The psychic storm had passed, leaving a strange calm over the chamber of echoes. The mist still swirled softly, but it no longer threatened to overwhelm Elias. He felt the weight of the queen's memories and fears within him, but now, instead of chaos, there was a rhythm, a heartbeat that belonged to both of them. Hovered nearby, her silver glow soft and steady. For the first time in centuries, she allowed herself to breathe freely. The human before her was not a soldier or a stranger. He was something different. He was courage in flesh and mind, and in his presence she could feel the tight knot of her loneliness loosen. You reached the center, she whispered, her voice trembling with awe. No one, not even my closest advisors, has ever come this far. Elias stepped closer, keeping his gaze on her. His chest still ached from the psychic strain, but there was a strange warmth spreading through him. "I had a guide," he said quietly. Your courage, your trust, it helped me stay." The queen's eyes shimmered with emotion. She looked smaller somehow, more human than any ruler he had ever seen. "I feared sharing everything with another being," she admitted. "I feared someone seeing my fears, my mistakes, and judging me for them. But with you, I felt safe." He smiled faintly, exhausted but sincere. "You should not have to carry everything alone anymore." Her chest rose and fell as she took a deep breath. "I have ruled for centuries. I have carried the weight of my people, their hopes and fears without fail. But even queens need help. Even queens need someone to see them, to truly see them." Elia's heart tightened. He reached out, not touching her physical form, but letting her sense his presence in the psychic bond they shared. "I see you," he said inside her mind. "Every part of you. The fears, the strength, the love you've held inside. I see it all, and I will not turn away." For a long moment, silence stretched between them, filled with shared understanding. Then allowed herself to step closer, letting her energy mingle with his. Her silver glow wrapped around him like a soft cloak, warming the parts of him that had felt cold and alone for so long. "You've changed me," she whispered. "Not through power, not through command, but through courage. Through your choice to stay when it would have been easier to leave." Elias chuckled softly, though he felt the strain of the merge in every muscle. "It wasn't bravery. It was seeing someone who needed me and deciding not to abandon them. That's all humans can do, really." Her gaze softened and a tear of silver light formed on her cheek. "You are extraordinary, Elias Ward," she said, her voice trembling. "You carried my memories, my fears, my very soul, and you are still standing." He took a careful step toward her. "I'm standing because you let me in, because you trusted me, and because I chose to." His breath caught, and for a moment the queen's composure broke completely. She lowered her head, letting herself feel the depth of gratitude, relief, and something she had never admitted: hope. Hope that even centuries of duty and burden could be shared, even lightened through trust. "You are not only inside my mind now," she whispered, her silver glow flickering with emotion. "You are inside my heart." Elias felt warmth spread through him, deeper than any battle adrenaline, deeper than any memory of home. The human heart was fragile, but in this moment it beat strong, beating alongside hers. They were no longer just human and queen. They were partners in thought, in trust, and in courage. The chamber's energy pulsed gently around them, the cores above stabilizing as if in acknowledgement. Outside, the city's citizens would never know the full extent of the sacrifice and courage that had saved their future. But inside the chamber, two beings shared something far more powerful than victory: the understanding that no matter how heavy the burden, no one had to carry it alone. And in that understanding, a new bond was born, one that neither time nor distance could ever undo. The chamber of echoes hummed softly, but the calm was deceptive. Elias could feel the weight of the merge pressing against his body now, not just his mind. His limbs trembled as though his muscles had forgotten how to hold him upright. Breathing was difficult, and a deep exhaustion sank into his bones, heavier than any battlefield fatigue he had ever known. Silver glow hovered beside him, her expression shifting from awe to fear. "Elias," she said softly, voice trembling, "you've carried too much. Your mind, your body, I can feel the strain. You are not built for this." Elias managed a faint smile. I'm fine," he whispered, though each word felt like dragging himself through water. "I had to make sure you and your people were safe." The queen's eyes filled with tears, bright silver drops that reflected the faint glow of the chamber. She knelt beside him, her hands hovering over his shoulders. "You foolish human," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "You gave me everything, and now you are weakening. This was never meant for you to endure for so long." Elias looked up at her, his vision slightly blurred. He could see the worry etched into her face, the desperation she tried to hide from the world. For centuries, she had been untouchable, unshakable, yet here she was, trembling beside him. "I did what had to be done," he murmured. "Because you trusted me, because your people needed me, because I care." Her hands glowed softly as she reached toward him, pouring her stabilizing energy into his body. But human physiology could not hold alien energy for long. His body resisted, muscles trembling violently, heart racing beyond natural limits. His face fell, and she tightened her grip, desperation in every movement. "You cannot leave me," she whispered, almost pleading. "Not now, not after everything. Please stay with me." Elias' breath hitched, but he managed to smile faintly. "I'm not leaving," he said, voice barely audible. "I can feel you, and I know you won't let me go. That's enough." The Queen's energy pulsed around him, enveloping him in warmth, hope, and power. Elias felt it stabilizing his body, though only partially. He had given so much, his mind, his courage, his endurance, and now it had a cost. Pain and weakness pulled at him, yet he refused to let it break him. "I've seen your strength," said softly, her voice trembling but steadying. "I've seen your courage, your heart. Humans, you endure so much and still choose to stand. You are extraordinary, Elias Ward, and she paused, swallowing hard. "I will not let you suffer alone." He reached out, resting a hand over hers, letting her feel the human warmth beneath the silver energy. "We are connected now," he said weakly. "Your strength flows in me and mine flows in you. We endure together." Her tears flowed freely now, but they were not just sorrow. They were relief, gratitude, and something else. A fragile hope. Hope that neither of them would be alone again. Hope that the bond they had forged in danger could withstand any storm. The chamber's light pulsed gently, responding to the shared connection. Outside, the city's crystal towers began to hum with renewed energy. The cores that had threatened collapse were stabilizing, glowing brighter, fueled by the psychic fusion that Elias had survived. Elias exhaled shakily, his body still weak but his mind sharper than ever. He looked at the Queen, and despite the exhaustion, he felt pride, not in victory over a battlefield, but in the courage they had shared. She had let him see her completely, and he had carried her trust without failing. "You saved more than your people," she whispered, placing her forehead against his. "You saved me." "I saved both of us," Elias replied, his voice soft, "because we faced it together, and I will not stop, not for anything." For the first time in centuries, smiled with complete relief. She knew the journey was not over, this was only the beginning, but for now they had endured, together. And in that fragile, exhausted moment, the Queen and the human knew something profound. Courage, trust, and connection could carry even the heaviest burdens if shared. The chamber of echoes glowed softly as Elias sat, still trembling from the immense strain. Around him, the silver mist pulsed gently, no longer chaotic, as if acknowledging their survival. Outside, the crystal city's towers shone brighter than ever, humming with renewed energy. The cores that had threatened collapse were now stable, alive with the combined energy of the Queen and the human who had risked everything. Knelt beside him, her hands trembling slightly as they hovered over his shoulders. She studied him carefully, her silver eyes wide with a mix of awe, relief, and lingering fear. "You've endured so much," she whispered, her voice soft and quivering. I thought we might lose you, and now, seeing you here, I can hardly believe it." Elias managed a weak smile. "I'm here," he said. His voice was strained but steady. "Because I knew I had to be, because you trusted me, because we are connected." The Queen's lips quivered, and for the first time in centuries she allowed herself to fully release her emotions. She placed her hands firmly on his, the silver energy flowing from her into him, stabilizing his weakened body. He felt warmth, strength, and calmness spreading through every aching muscle. Her touch, her presence, was a promise that he would not be alone, not now, not ever. "You are extraordinary, Elias Ward," she said softly, a tear of silver light streaking down her cheek. "Not because of power or strength or skill, but because you chose to stay. You chose to face everything I feared together with me. You saved me." Elias shook his head gently, smiling faintly despite the exhaustion. "We saved each other," he said. "You let me in and I let myself care. That's why we endured. That's why we survived." The queen's chest rose and fell as she exhaled, relief flowing through her like light. She pressed her forehead to his in a gesture of closeness that had no title, no formality, only trust, only connection. "I thought no one could ever understand me," she whispered. "I have ruled for centuries, carried the burdens of my people, but I never realized how much lighter it could feel to share them, to be seen, to be understood." Elias felt her heartbeat echo in his mind, steady and warm. He smiled faintly, though he struggled to stay upright. "You are not alone anymore," he said. "Your burdens are ours to carry. Your people, they have me now, and so do you." The silver mist around them shifted gently, almost in approval. Outside, the citizens of the city noticed the towers glowing brighter, the hum of the cores harmonizing with a newfound energy. Life, hope, and resilience radiated from the palace, yet only two beings knew the full story of sacrifice, trust, and courage that had saved them all. Lowered her hands, still holding his, her eyes reflecting wonder. "You are inside my heart now," she whispered, voice trembling. "Not just my mind, but the very core of who I am. And you've changed me, Elias, forever." I'm just a human," he replied, his voice soft yet sincere. "But humans endure, we survive, we care. That's all I ever did and all I ever will do for you." Her eyes softened, silver light glinting in awe and gratitude. "And that is enough," she said. She extended her hand, offering him a gesture of trust that went beyond words. "Come walk with me now, Elias Ward, not as queen and soldier, not as ruler and guest, but as two beings who carry each other's courage, hope, and heart." Elias took her hand, feeling the warmth and power flowing between them. His body was exhausted, but his spirit soared. Together, they rose from the chamber, stepping into the light of the palace above. The city hummed with renewed life, unaware of the struggle that had just unfolded beneath their feet. And as they walked together, shoulder to shoulder, mind to mind, heart to heart, they knew this. They had survived the impossible, carried burdens no one else could bear, and created a bond stronger than any fear, any danger, any time.